Why GDPR offers no real protection for UK companies using US-based email marketing platforms. Here's a question almost no one wants to answer honestly. If you're a UK company using a US-based email marketing platform, what exactly is GDPR protecting you from? Because in 2026, the uncomfortable truth is this. GDPR offers very little real-world protection once your data leaves the UK and lands in US infrastructure. Today, we're breaking down what that is and what most companies misunderstand and where the actual risks really live. The illusion of control under GDPR sounds airtight. It promises strong protections for personal data, strict rules on data processing and accountability for third-party processors. UK companies are told, if your vendors are GDPR compliant, you're covered. But that confidence falls apart the moment your email platform is headquartered in the US or operated under US law or hosted on US-controlled infrastructure. At that point, GDPR becomes more of a policy aspiration than an enforcement shield. US law always wins on US soil. That is the core issue, and that is really said out loud. If your email marketing software is US-based, it is subject to US federal law, US subpoenas, US surveillance, and disclosure requirements that GDPR does not override. UK GDPR, EU GDPR, and SCC amendments, none of these can stop a US company from complying with US legal demands. So, while contracts may say GDPR compliant, jurisdiction decides reality, and jurisdiction is American. While data transfer frameworks don't fix this, yes, there are mechanisms. Standard contractual clauses, the EU-US data privacy framework, transfer impact assessments. They exist to justify transfers, not to prevent misuse. They don't change where the data lives, or change who controls the servers, or change which courts have the authority. They just make the paperwork look tidy. From a protection standpoint, UK companies gain almost nothing beyond plausible deniability. Enforcement stops at the water's edge. Here's the practical enforcement problem. If something goes wrong, say data misuse, overreach, or improper access, who does the UK company actually go after? A US platform with no UK presence? A company with no UK assets? A provider outside of UK courts? Regulators can issue findings, they can write reports. They can express concerns, but enforcing actions across borders? That's rare, slow, and usually ineffective. GDPR can't protect data it can't realistically police. What UK companies are actually protected by? So, if it's not GDPR, what really protects UK companies? 3 things. 1. Platform reputation. Major US email platforms protect themselves first, so they care about trust, enterprise customers, and avoiding headlines. Not because GDPR scares them, but because of bad PR, and that does scare them. 2. Commercial contracts. Your real leverage isn't regulation, it's your contract. SLAs, liability clauses, termination rights, that's where consequences live, not in the regulatory theory. Inbox providers, Google, Microsoft, Apple, they're the real regulators of email, and if abuse happens, they act immediately. No regulator required. GDPR has become a comfort story for UK companies. GDPR often functions as a comfort narrative. It says you're protected, you're compliant, you've done your duty. But once you rely on a US-based email infrastructure, that protection is largely, well, symbolic. Useful for audits, useful for sales decks, but not especially useful when power dynamics actually matter. GDPR isn't a shield, it's a signal. GDPR doesn't truly protect UK companies using US-based email platforms. It signals intent, it sets expectations, but it doesn't control outcomes. If you want real protection, use a UK-based platform. Vendor trustworthiness, contract strength, infrastructure, transparency, and responsible data use. Because in 2026, law follows power and power follows infrastructure. If you want more straight talk on email deliverability and legal myths that nobody likes to question, subscribe to Email Blaster. And if this has made you slightly uncomfortable, perfect. That means you're paying attention.